Hello. For all of you on the other side of the screen, checking out my second ever video on my YouTube channel. Welcome and namaste. Since recording the first video, I realized there are a few things that I'd like to share with you before we dive into the series on getting to know yourself better. One is I'm going to try to keep my videos about 10 minutes or less. You hear my dog in the background. So I also have dogs, and this is real life, so sometimes they may interrupt us. But the reason why I'm keeping the videos to about 10 minutes or less is because I understand how difficult it can be to schedule in extra time throughout your day that isn't a part of your routine. And especially difficult to schedule time for yourself. But I'm hoping that that rhythm will change for you as you get to know yourself better, because you are absolutely worth it, and the investment, the time that you invest in yourself is completely worth it, because it will affect the quality of your life and the quality of your relationships. So with that being said, I also want to share with you why I use the greeting namaste to begin and end my videos. This is a term, it's a beautiful term actually. It's a Hindu term in Sanskrit, and it's a greeting that translates to I bow to you. Now, when I first heard it, I was about 18 years old, a freshman in college, and I decided to take my first yoga class ever. And at the end of the yoga class, that greeting was used, or that send-off was used. And it was explained to me that it means the light in me bows to the light in you. And so I immediately resonated with that, and I thought, oh my gosh, this really captures how I feel when I meet people. This captures the essence of the compassion I feel in my heart as a pretty empathic individual. So I use that to really signify that the light in me, the soul in me, bows and honors to the light and the soul within you. So everyone here on the other side of the screen, that message is truly heartfelt, and you may have already known the meaning of it, but I wanted to share that for those that have never really heard it, or maybe have heard it but didn't really know what it means. So, and I also wanted to give credit to its cultural origins. Now, if we had a word in the English language that really captured that full meaning, I would probably use it interchangeably. So there's that I wanted to share with you. The other really important piece that I wanted to share with you is really giving you a bit more of a background as to what inspired me to start these series. Not only where we are in the world, and also in my profession, what I do, but also in my personal life. I believe it's incredibly important that as we navigate and heal, that we feel open enough to share our story with others, because sometimes it's really hard to give ourselves permission to go there and to share from a real vulnerable place. And so what really compels me to do this series was an event in my life. And so an event that really unfolded to many different events, but it was an event where it was a huge wake-up call for me, and I woke up to realizing that I had lost complete connection to myself, connection to what I valued, what I desired, what I needed, what I wanted, really my own voice. So about 3 years ago, my marriage fell apart, and I was in incredible denial about it. It was incredibly difficult for me to acknowledge that that's where I found myself in my life, in my relationship. It took me a while to sift through the denial, because I didn't want to see my family fall apart. I didn't want to see a relationship that I invested a lot of time and love and energy into just break apart and no longer be. So of course, with that denial, there was tons of fear. And as I moved through the fear, I also uncovered a crap ton of shame, so much shame, insecurity, self-doubt. It was really dark for a while. I found myself depressed, and I found myself holding on to bits and pieces of a life that were no longer real. Just so much grief and so much fear of the unknown, of what it was going to look like in the months and the years and what was to come. And so as I went on through my journey, I learned I learned many valuable skills. And so part of my healing journey, and for those of you that have experienced divorce or separation, heartbreak, grief, the breakup of a marriage or the breakup of a partnership, this is just one part of my experience. Yours does not have to mirror it, or if there's some similarities, please connect, leave a message, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. But my healing journey consisted of psychotherapy, energy healing, yoga, meditation, tons of mindfulness work, because I had to uncover a lot of what was lurking in the shadow, a lot of what I was denying or afraid to see. I found myself hiding from my own life, trying to hold together pieces that again just weren't fitting because they were meant to break open, they were meant to break apart. And so 3 years later, I am now here with full acceptance, an incredibly deep peace in my heart, having a really healthy co-parenting relationship with my ex, and incredibly grateful for the journey. Now, at the beginning, I don't think I would have said that. So this is what has compelled me, because I realize that so many of us become disconnected from ourselves in long-term relationships, or even just in beginning relationships, or just with ourselves in general as we're navigating our lives. And so the need to reconnect, the need to understand ourselves better, the need to make conscious, aware choices of the quality of life that we want to live is very, very, very important, and it is 100% our responsibility. No one else can do the healing for us. No one else can say yes for us. No one else can actually do the work. So that is what drives me. And everyone's healing journey is going to look different. And so, I also utilized tons of books. So if you have any questions, if you're curious about some of the healing modalities that I used, I'd be happy to share. Just leave me a comment or a question in the comments below. It's weird to say that. So yes, please do. And another thing, in addition, story is so vitally important. So maybe throughout our time together, or throughout the series of videos that I create, I'm going to share story with you, because story is a profound way to share wisdom, to share teachings, to pass down cultural traditions and lineage. It's just beautiful. Every culture has their version of storytelling. It's so rich and it's so important. And I believe that's really such a great way to connect us to the shared experience of living. Not necessarily similar lifestyles or similar life experiences, but living. So we can all come together on that. And with that, I'm going to close with one of my favorite stories. It's a Cherokee legend. It's really beautiful. I use it often. I learned about it when I was a freshman in college, and it's hanging in my home because it's such a beautiful reminder of our power of choice. So, an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside me," he said to the boy. "It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. He has anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego." He continued. "The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." So I leave you with that, wherever you are, whatever time of day it is, to really take it in, to let it sink in, to have your own response to it. Look it up if you feel compelled to read it again. It's pretty powerful because it illustrates that all of us have the shadow and the light, the difficulty and the ease, the grace and the darkness, right? We all have the capacity to feel the fullness of life. And it's absolutely a choice as to which wolf we're going to feed, as to which path we want to take. And this can happen on a daily, hourly, minute by minute basis. It's your choice. So I'm excited that if you've made it to this part of the video, that you must be interested in some way to continue tuning in. And I know that I've just gone over 10 minutes, but I thought it was a really interesting story to share if you haven't already heard it. So those are my inspirations and why I'm doing this. I'm excited that you're going to join me, and the next time that we work together, bring a journal and we'll start doing some fun exploring. Namaste. I'm trying to get my clicker to work. Okay, next time.